Hello lovely people.
Hello.
If you're new here, I'm Jessica. This is my channel, but today's video is a little bit different because this is Claudia, my lovely wife, and we're going to be doing a video that's kind of all about you.
Oh my god.
And I'm just here as an interviewer in a way.
Anyone who knows us in person or not, or anyone who knows us through YouTube will know that you're more of the talkative, extrovert, outgoing one, and I'm the more reserved, quiet one, apart from sometimes when there's a camera on me, and then I don't shut up for some reason, and I ramble and ramble and ramble.
Today's video is actually about mothering without a mother. This year's Mother's Day is actually quite special in that it's our first Mother's Day
as mums.
As mums.
I mean, that's really weird, isn't it? It feels kind of strange. I was seeing all the like Happy Mother's Day cards and things like that. Ordinarily, I would like, think about my mum, and often I do. But this year, I was like, wait, is it only the first time it's a Mother's Day where I've been a mother? Because it feels like he's been around for quite a long time. Well, I was pregnant last Mother's Day.
True.
And I think you gave me a card.
I think I did.
So this is technically my second and your second Mother's Day.
This year is also the 10-year anniversary of your mother's death. But of course there are many other reasons why people might not have their mother in their lives. We don't all have the best relationships with our mothers. We might not have had a mother to begin with. And of course we should honour the fact that there are varying types of mother figures in our lives and parental figures.
Mm-hmm.
But we thought we'd make a video just that's about mothering without a mother.
Yeah.
Because it's a question that you get asked about a lot and that people seem interested to know about.
Yeah, and obviously I'm not at all trying to speak for anyone else. This is just my own personal experiences, but hopefully maybe it's just something that some of you might be able to relate to. Whatever, I just thought it'd be quite a nice one to talk about.
And especially if you are looking ahead to your future, you don't currently have a mother and you're thinking of one day becoming a mother yourself, we hope that it maybe helps you with maybe some nervousness that you might be feeling. This video is also sponsored by Kerastase, who are doing a Mother's Day campaign. Yes, thank you for showing off your gorgeous Kerastase hair.
I know this, I've been using the Kerastase mask or whatever, the conditioning mask. One, it smells gorgeous, and secondly, it just makes my hair so silky. I actually brushed my hair, guys, before I decided to film. I never brush my hair. One, because I can't be bothered, and two, it normally doesn't look good when I brush it. It just goes really frizz. But I brushed it.
Normally her hair is yeah,
I brushed it and it looks like I've had a professional blow dry.
It's so silky. You completely derailed my Kerastase are donating things to charity, and that's what we're talking about here. We'll find out more about that later in the ad section, but thank you for telling us about your gorgeous hair. Let's talk about your mum.
Okay.
Who I never got to meet.
I was going to say, is that it? That's a very open question.
Okay, that's a very open question. I never got to meet your mum, but she sounds amazing. She sounds like a really warm, loving, open person and quite jolly. Yeah, well, you also have every time you describe her, it's always in quite a jolly tone.
Yeah, she was a bit cheeky. She had a big a joie de vivre. She loved learning. She was always reading the paper and the magazine. She read don't judge her. She would read the Daily Mail, the Sunday Times, the Telegraph, the Independent. She kind of read everything. I wouldn't know what her favourite paper was, because she would be well, there's different columnists in different ones that I like. Always wanting to learn. She was really passionate. She was always making friends wherever she went. Children absolutely loved her. She told me this story one time, how this little boy, I can't remember the context, but it stuck with me about how this little boy came to her and took her hand and said, "Can you take me to the toilet, please?" And I was like, "Who? Why?" And she was like, "I don't know, he just liked the look of my face." That's the kind of person she was. She liked hosting. She always, my dad and her would always have big family parties with lots of her Malaysian friends. If you had any part of Malaysian in you and you lived in Surrey, you probably were going to be friends with my mum.
Every Malaysian person, it's amazing.
That is not true.
No, sorry.
That's also not true. Probably not anymore. But in the probably late 90s, noughties, then yes, possibly. I did know most of the Malaysian people in Surrey. We called them the Malaysian Mafia. We did do no mafia actions other than
don't worry, no illegal activities.
No, it was mainly just mass cooking.
They're transporting a lot of spices, probably. Yeah.
Pushing curries on each other.
And she came from a really big family herself.
Oh yeah, my mum was one of 10. She grew up in a little town outside of Ipoh in Malaysia, which we went to visit when I was a teenager, and it was tiny little town. And even when we went, she was like, "This is a lot bigger than it was. And her dad, my gong gong, was a chef, and my pawpaw basically, I think she worked in a tobacco factory, but then she just raised 10 kids, so she was pretty busy.
She had a lot going on.
And they lived in like this bungalow essentially. It was still there when we went to see it, and it was just 2 rooms. So there's one room where my gong gong and pawpaw would sleep, and then there was the other room where basically all the kids were, and they cooked and everything. And my mum said that she just had a corner with her 2 other sisters, the elder ones. I mean, they weren't all there, 10 of them at the same time. There's a big age gap between them. She told me lots of stories about that. So she had like loads of stories, fascinating, colourful stories about her past and her upbringing. And she made sure that me and my sister had like a really colourful, cultured upbringing as well. So really thankful for that. She came over to England to train as a nurse when she was 18. She went to Bradford, which was a bit of a shock compared to the tropical heat of Malaysia. Bradford, if you don't know, is in Yorkshire, so northern England. It was pretty cold and dark. She wanted to go back to Malaysia immediately, but she had no money because flights back in the 70s were like really expensive. So she had to work for 4 years apparently before she even had enough money to fly back. But by that point she'd kind of made friends. Then she got a life, so she was like, So she decided to stay. And then she worked as a nurse, and then she met my dad, who was a doctor. She raised me and my sister, and she retrained. She quit her nursing and she retrained as an acupuncturist, which is pretty cool. Which would bring in her nursing background with her like sort of Chinese medicine background from her childhood. She worked from home, and obviously with her personable nature and everything, like people really loved having treatment with her. And she was really into like rainbow diet, alternative medicine, being really healthy. She's always encouraged me and my sister to be super healthy. She was drinking loads of water and green tea and lots of fruit and veg. So it was a bit of a shock, when she was diagnosed with cancer. The first symptoms that were recognised seriously was that she got jaundice, so she went very yellow, and she got rushed into hospital, and they did a test obviously on her liver to see what was going on, and realised that she had cancerous growths in her liver. So then they did a scan, a full body scan, to see what was going on. And unfortunately then they also found she had tumours in her brain, and they found that the primary site was actually in her lungs. So it was terminal cancer essentially, because it had already spread. We were devastated, and my mum was obviously very upset because it just seemed so unfair, like it is for anyone who gets cancer, but especially for someone who's lived such a healthy life, encouraging people to do the same. And you often think things like lung cancer associated with smoking and an unhealthy lifestyle. So of course when we found out that actually it was lung cancer primarily, it was just a bit of a blow, because it was like, how did our mum get that? And unfortunately it was pretty fast, and there wasn't really any treatment for it. And yeah, she died 11 months later, so we only had her for a short time, and it was just one of those things that was just kind of shocked us all, and obviously I still get quite upset talking about it now. But yeah, I mean, one blessing when someone gets diagnosed with a terminal illness is you do have time to talk about things and appreciate their life and your life together before that's taken away. Okay.
So then, in terms of becoming a mother one day, how did you feel about going on to have your own children after losing your mum?
I always wanted children, and I always wanted a family. Like, I knew that was a picture I had from my own childhood. But when my mum died, I think I distinctly remember sitting in bed with my sister in our family home. So it was literally probably that day or the day after, but it was like within a few days, if that. And I remember saying to her, like, I really want to have children. Like, it felt very strong. I remember having a very, very strong, much stronger than I'd had before, desire to have my own children, because that mother-daughter or mother-child bond and connection, although obviously it's always kind of there, it wasn't here on earth anymore. I suddenly realised the power of it and how much I wanted that again. And I knew that the way to get that again, to have my own children and recreate it. And so like that pull to have my own children was really powerful in that moment.
Did you feel like it affected the way in which we had children?
Yeah.
Because I know that when we started having conversations about having children, like I'd always assumed that my children would be adopted because I knew that I couldn't carry children, and also that biologically, like, it's not great for my kids to. I'm not genetically a gem.
You are my gem.
Oh, thanks,
Look at you, like a little emerald.
But yeah, but I wouldn't want to pass on my genes per se. But then when I met you and you had this really strong drive, I was like, I want to create more Claudias with you. That bond.
Yeah.
And I think culturally as well, to be able to pass that down.
I think before my mum got ill, I would definitely have had conversations with my friends about how I would, like, maybe consider adopting and like all these and floating more ideas around like that. Whereas, like you say, passing on my mum and the desire to have that felt like it needed to be for me, at least for at least our first or for one child that we would have or that I would have with my future partner, because I hadn't met Jessica yet. I wanted it to be biological. I wanted to like carry the child. I wanted to give birth to the child. And and there was a big element of I wanted to carry on my mother's ancestry and my mother's heritage and my genes through birthing a child that was biologically related to me.
And I mean, strangely, we created a child who looks a lot like your mum.
I know. It's great.
We put up these two pictures on the shelf the other day, and we were like, oh my god. Like, it's a picture of Claudia's mother in a frame, and then a picture of Rupert in a frame. And it's a bit like...
Yeah, their nose, their cheeks,
like
their eyes.
Face shape, almost. Like
the only thing that's slightly different is maybe his
he has
lips.
Your lips, which your dad's lips.
Yeah.
And then,
lips are a
like,
bit
his forehead is... he doesn't have any hair, so... We can't really tell what's going on up here yet. So obviously the process of trying for children, getting pregnant, having children has also been something that, by your mother not being here, has been... You kind of felt her absence.
I mean, the fertility journey very much felt like ours, and I didn't feel like I needed my mom. Maybe like the loss of finding out we weren't pregnant after every 2-week wait, which was a failure. That would have been nice maybe to have my mum to talk to, because as a woman who'd also gone through family planning and wanting children, and I know that she did lose like one child at least, that's something that she would have had her own experience of, and I would have been able to speak to her. And also what would have been nice is we were going through the same thing, but in different ways. In a way, it was difficult to talk to each other about it sometimes because we didn't want to upset each other.
Yeah, because you're like, are you in a good place right now? Because I'm not.
Yeah.
And I need to talk to someone, but I don't want to mess up your good place if you're in a good place.
And then when we did get pregnant, then it's like the highs of the celebratory, like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. Like, you want to tell everyone, but you can't tell that many people when you first find out, because, what if it doesn't take, and you can't like share it too much. And obviously, like, your mum's one of those people that you do kind of share it with quite quickly. So that would have been really nice to know that she was there and supporting. But I have my sister.
One of the things that perhaps you found through the absence of your mother is a strengthening of other figures in your life. One of whom is your sister, who's only 3 years older than you.
Yeah.
But who we rely on.
3.5.
3.5 years older.
Well, because she was like 4 school years older, so
okay. So sorry. But who we definitely rely on a lot for like parental advice.
Yeah, I mean, she's a mother of 2 herself.
Like, what is this rash?
Yeah, and she was a great older sister. I mean, she still is a great older sister, and we were always close growing up. We as children.
Your mother was obviously such a deeply loving person that she created bonds for you as well. Like, you have so many family friends. Like, when Rupert was born, your mother's best friend came to stay with us and helped us out.
Yeah.
Auntie Lily was amazing. I love you.
Yeah, and she's like a second mum. My mum and her are pretty inseparable. She also has two daughters who me and my sister are very close to as well. They're basically like a bit like cousins to us. As mums now, I've learnt that you need, family are great. But also you can have like non-related family close. And I think it's really important for children to see that. how important friendship is, and how you can rely on your friends and how your friends can rely on you.
You don't have to just think, oh, this is the family that I'm born with and it's okay. It doesn't need to just be a stuck thing.
I mean, we're in the fortunate position that we live in Brighton, which is so liberal and so gay friendly, and because of that we have a community of gay friends, and they're all starting to have families too. Not all of them, but like, you know, there are, and it's not just gay people, like we have like young friends who have families, and it's just really nice to know that these people hopefully will be in Rupert's life for a long time, if not forever, and then to the point that maybe some, like if we were to go or like whatever, they'd still be there for him in the same way that my mother's friends have been there for me.
I mean, I don't know, the mother in me is now like, I've got to write a list.
Now you're like, I need to streamline our friends and make sure they all are vetted.
Write a list of the friends in my life who I'm like, would you take in my child if we die tomorrow?
Can you put anyone in your will, or do they need to agree to it? Because like, can you like instruct?
I think pretty sure you can. Well, I mean, there are lots of movies where people just get randomly left children.
Hi, I'm the solicitor acting on behalf of the Kellgren-Fozards. Did you know that in the will, Rupert has been left to you?
There's a small child in my office, please come collect.
What? And then we should write a letter as well. Oh no, I meant to the people that we've left him to.
Right.
Like, thank you so
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Sorry that we
Appreciate
died.
it. Now let's talk about Kerastase. They understand that Mother's Day can be quite alienating for those without a mother or with a difficult relationship. So instead, you can celebrate the women in your life that lift you up and provide you with that love and nurture. Kerastase have been working to distribute their goods to different communities in need for the past few years. Last year, In-Kind Direct and Kerastase collaborated to give products to various women's shelters across the UK. Sometimes just a lovely, beautiful product can really help to lift the spirit and provide a brief moment to detach from sometimes harsh reality. This year the gift is the beautiful Elixir Ultime oil, which is their iconic hair oil, also now in the Tiger Root edition. I use this oil all the time. My tip is to add it into wet hair, and I'm going to say if you have hair that's about my length, I would advise using a good couple, like 4 squirts.
Really?
Yeah, no, I've got long hair.
I use it on dry hair because we've got different type of hair.
We do have different hair.
So like I've got more like a thicker flyaway hair that tends to like be more prone to frizz. I just do 1 pump of the oil and I put it through my dry hair, and it like adds on like a day, but in a good way. But it doesn't make your hair greasy. Like I've used oils before and it looks like you've just literally pumped a handful of oil into your hair.
No, I do love that, see, but I'm using it less frequently, only once I'm doing my full hair routine, and I'm using it 4 pumps on only the wet hair.
Well, I guess the point we're making is it suits all hair type.
It does.
And it's a really nice product.
It does. Mine's much finer. It's a really mood-boosting gift to receive. It also just looks gorgeous, can we say. And for every order this month, Kerastase will donate an Elixir limited edition to In-Kind Direct, helping to boost the self-confidence of women in communities across the UK, up to 1,500 units. Full terms and conditions apply. So one thing I've really noticed since Rupert's been born is that you felt a much stronger pull towards, kind of like towards your Malaysian side.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. When I was pregnant, I really felt like, oh, my sister's house has got like loads more cultural references to like my mum's ethnicity and Malaysia, and she's like, the house always smells like incense and it reminds me of like home, and she often cooks noodles and she cooks more Malaysian food, and she goes to, you know, and she goes to the Chinese supermarket and buys the things that my mum used to buy, and she makes the boys the things my mum used to cook us. And I thought, oh, and I remember feeling like that I'd somehow like failed a bit, that I wasn't continuing to do that. Maybe that realization sprung me to do it. But I think it was actually, now that you said it, the fact that she had these 2 children, maybe that's what made her do it more. Because of this, like, you just want to emulate your own mother. Yeah, like what do you think of as mumsy? Like, it's going to be different to what I think of as people
like,
say
mumsy.
Like you kind of parent how you were parented, whether that's good or bad. But in our case, you know, it's good because we both thought our mum was amazing. Of course, we're trying to emulate that now, doing like a lot more sort of Asian cooking. I mean, I've always have done, but I would say I probably have been doing more.
So happy about it.
Put up Malaysian paintings and prints that we had done. We've had them since we went like in 2018. We just never had them framed, and like I think when he was 4 months old we went and got them framed finally, because I was like, I want to put these up on the wall now. I had photos of my mum, but I didn't have like loads of photos of my mum, and now we have more because I'm like, well, I know what she looked like and I have memories of her. And like Jessica knows from me showing her, but Ruka doesn't know. So like we need to put loads up and we need to talk about her. And also you've even like jumped in on it because Jessica's bought these really cute books like Dim Sum for Everyone, where she reads them to him. And I mean, you've bought literally 2 books about dim sum, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he really likes dim sum.
Chinese.
We've taken him to dim sum. He gets very excited.
Chinese New Year, we've got a book about that.
Yeah, we've got 2 books about Chinese New Year in fact.
And me being mixed race, Jessica's had to point out sometimes about the importance of encouraging or educating Rupert about those areas, because of course he's got that ethnicity too. Yeah, he's only like a quarter of it as opposed to half, but he doesn't have my mum around anymore as a first point of reference, you know, to this is your heritage.
I feel like since having him as well, you've embraced things about the way you look even.
Oh, okay.
I definitely think
like my hair.
Like your hair. Swish it. Swish again.
Yeah, oh, I didn't realise I had to have the eyes shut.
Okay, never mind. So sorry. We'll work on that and get back to you.
So hard.
Thank you so much to everyone for watching this video. It can be really hard to talk about these things sometimes.
So I always like to talk about them a little bit when I feel like the time is right, because I think it's important to share these things with friends and family, and when you feel safe and comfortable too, because actually it's healthy to talk about it.
True, and grief is one of those things where you can feel really alone. Things like Mother's Day, when they're supposed to be like just joyful and amazing and we're all happy, but not everyone feels that way.
It's often,
that's okay.
The Mother's Day that you hear about is very commercialised, and you know, in the sense that you've got to buy or take your mum out for lunch, or take your mum out to this event. You know, it's very much like spend your money. And if you don't have a mum, obviously hearing about all the things you could potentially buy your mum is quite upsetting. It gets a lot easier to talk about things as the time goes on. As I say, time's a healer. So if you're struggling and things are much fresher for you, I hope this has given you some kind of glimmer of hope that actually in time you'll be in a place where you can comfortably talk about it and remember all the positive, happy times for yourself and for any future family, whether that family is something you have now or one that you're going to grow.
And remember that Mother's Day doesn't have to be biological. Families can be something that you find through, maybe through your partner's family. It can be maybe through a found family and a network of amazing friends. A family is whatever you make it to be. Remember to check out Kerastase's Elixir Limited Edition Oil, where you can buy really incredible haircare products and support a worthy cause. Click the link in the description to find out more on the Kerastase website. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.
Bye.
Bye.